Don't say it! Don't say it! Don't do it! Don't say it! Oh, don't say it! Not yet! Not yet, my God! Welcome to Poeboys! He said it!
Alright guys, so right here we have this piece of exhaust right here, which I'm using this for the passenger side of the exhaust. I've marked the holes already and it's going to sit like that, but we have an issue. I accidentally cut this piece of pipe with a J-bend, so I took a piece of steel rod, just filler rod that you would use for TIG welding, and this is the hole I cut on accident with the saw right there, thinking I would cut it, but I'm just going to use that same piece of metal. I literally just took a piece of filler rod, bent it to the right OD of this guy right here, and it fits inside perfectly fine. Boop and boop. So now, easy to TIG weld, no gap at all, just super easy. The filler rod's already in there. I'm not even gonna have to use any. I can literally just put this thing down and put some weld down. All right, so I'm gonna attempt to not do anything because this tungsten's balled up from me not having any rod. I need to fix this tungsten. So obviously when TIG welding, if you don't know, you want your tungsten to be really sharp. If you're welding steel or anything like that, that's the fine tip that you're gonna need whenever you are welding. You wanna be really careful because everything needs to be super clean and sanitary whenever you're welding it, which is why I already ground down everything. I guess let's get down and I'm gonna see if I can't try and weave this with the filler rod that's already in it, and if it blows through, then I'm just gonna have to get some other filler rod. But this is just to get rid of all the gaps. Oh yeah, that's looking good. I just figured out something that was here that I forgot about yet again. Bam! This is so much better lighting. That's dumb pipe. I had a stitcher right there, but we have some nice dimes right here, if you can't see. All right, so now that the pipe is now one solid pipe, we can do what we needed to do the whole time, which is clean up these edges and get it ready to weld on to the exhaust, to finish the exhaust. Now there's not a hole in it. Ow! Burnt the f out of my hand. It's not grounded. All right, so not necessarily the most dimes, but it is a nice bead around the whole entire thing. If I was back purging this, it would probably look a lot better, but the other side don't look too bad. Full V-band is welded. Now we can go ahead and get what we've been needing to do this whole time, and that is the finished part of the exhaust. So I get to tack that up. Oh, leather gloves get so hot when you grab hot metal, and I just grabbed this piece and I just welded this whole entire V-band, so that's really hot, and I just put my hand on it and then the glove was just burning me from the inside, so I had to get the glove off. That was painful. All right, let's tack that on again because that was a failed. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get started putting actual weld down here.
Is it still hot?
Yes.
It's crazy how that works.
All right, I'm finna wash this off with water. To everyone who is concerned, yes, I know it is bad for you to wash off hot metal with cold water because it takes the metal and the hotness and the coldness happening so fast just makes it freaking brittle. But there's no structural integrity because this is my exhaust system. So boys, I'm not afraid of me getting my welds wet because if they crack and break, I'm a welder. I can re-weld the crack. And honestly, I don't like burning my hands a lot, so I get it cold. All right, well now, since it's all here, let's test fit it and see if it fits. I'd be really surprised if this actually does fit without having to disconnect it. Oh, it does. Oh. All right, so we're gonna turn the car on with the exhaust actually facing out for the first time ever, so it's not gonna go directly in. Boop, I don't even have a seat right now. So long as she does turn on, assuming everything is correct. Ready?
I'm ready when you are.
Guys, so this is a transmission. I already took out everything I needed to take out. The bell housing right here isn't disconnected, but the transmission is disconnected from the bell housing, which is easy, which is why these V6 Mustangs, the T5, is just mint, because literally this right here,
She just needs a little wop.
there she goes.
Hey.
All right, so we got transmission and a drive shaft. I get the input shaft out so I can move this thing.
Voila.
T5 transmission, just like that. Pulled it myself. I didn't do anything. You could pull these things out with your eyes closed if you wanted to. There's one bolt here, 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 here. This is a transmission. Believe it or not, this is the bell housing. I need to take this off, but those bolts are gonna be way. I just had rear main seals drip on me. These are gonna be way easier to get to now that the transmission's not in the way. I literally could just take a ratchet, tighten everything down, get to it, easy as pie. Didn't even pull the drive shaft out of the transmission, so we don't have to lose any fluid either. That's why these are freaking easy. So gotta pull that off now. Oh, there is no input shaft. I can take this out right now. Here we go. Throw out bearing, clutch fork.
I think she's seen better days.
I just replaced her.
Why must things go wrong like this?
The reason why it went wrong is because this piece failed, and that's what the issue was.
This thing.
Here's a clamp. About to just cut that right there, and then weld on a heim joint.
Yeah.
Not have to worry about it ever coming off again.
Isn't that like a reoccurring problem for these Mustangs?
Well, for these Mustangs with really heavy clutches, yes. I don't know who just puts a stage 4 clutch on a V6 Mustang, but like if you do, this video will help you with your problems that you don't know you're gonna get until you get there. Take my experience of me messing up and finding these things out, and then you can use that. And then you know how to work things whenever you try and do it yourself. It's not that hard, you just gotta make sure you get everything out of the way before you can start going forward. All right guys, so we got to a stopping point on the drift car because one of my starter bolts decided to go ahead and strip itself out. So all of my bell housing bolts are off of the car, but one starter bolt is just rounded out completely and we cannot get anything to go on there. So we're gonna have to get some gator grips or possibly some extractor sockets that we can use to get that out of there. But for the meantime, what are you doing, Sean?
Man, this ugly, man. This has gotta go.
Facts.
Look, I'm just ready to eat this. I'm ready to eat this thing up out of here.
Yeah, we need to get rid of this.
Shop does not need this.
We're not a shop. We don't take orders. We don't take businesses.
No, we don't do that. This stuff right here needs to go. Like, this is nasty.
Facts.
But it's like glued down.
Yeah, it is glued down. We're gonna have to figure out. Honestly, we could probably get like a concrete cleaner and just run it over this glue and it'll probably take it up.
Don't you hate it when you're just working and then the bill collectors just call you? They're just like, all my money.
There she blows. All right, guys. So this lockbox right here has been attached to this little front desk that we've got in here. I've been trying to pick the lock on this thing. I've got me one of them little like $4 Wish lock picking kits. And this thing actually does work. I've done my bike whenever we went to North Carolina. I forgot my keys in Louisiana. And that's obviously like 12 hours away. So I literally locked picked the bike and was running with no key the whole entire time. And that's just kind of how we did it. So now I got to try and lock pick this guy.
Bruh. Yo, are you still messing with this thing?
Oh, I literally just started.
Dude, we did this.
Bro, how are we just gonna end up finding money?
I think this is the key to the lockbox.
That would explain why I wasn't able to get that open, because I don't have that.
Let's see if it works.
Not even.
It's very possible that I might have goofed it up. Oh, we got somebody's DL.
I've never had a cash drawer with cash in it. This is pretty dope. Well, that was one way to do that. Now I can't reuse it, but it was one way to do that.
It's okay, man. I'm just destructive. We gotta destroy things. We got that speed.
Poeboys.
Yo.
Hey, remember nights when we would sneak around, hide our love so you know who don't ever figure out. Never pictured I'd be writing this about you now after every.
Yo.
You may be asking, what is this right here?
A brand new clutch cable system, something like that.
Why did I get a clutch cable system? Well, actually, because Sean actually helped me out. Sean hit me up and he was like, yo, we can make this work. We can figure out something and we can actually weld it. We have a shop. We can literally do all that stuff now. And we're coming into the realization that honestly, we can do that kind of stuff now. Sean was like, yo, dude, let's make it happen. And honestly, I was like, I really just can't right now. I gotta wait. I'm gonna do some more stuff, more mods that are cheap and free because I don't have money. And he said, check your PayPal. Next thing you know, there's money in my bank and I was told to buy this. So now this is here. Sean is very determined to make this car run. We have Bbk Quadrant right here. This is a billet piece right here, which by the way looks beautiful, but it is definitely needed for any car that's a Mustang New Edge that is manual, because their manual linkage for their quadrants, I mean, all plastic gears and they're broken, and with my stage 4 clutch inside my car, it literally sheared the gears off, so I wasn't even able to use my clutch. You have to get this if you want to have any sort of good clutch. It'll help you with a lot of stuff as far as like keeping the clutch in alignment and all that good stuff.
What is this cable stuff, bro?
Bro, you have that man shift thing, you got that
Cable
hydraulic clutch.
Hey, you need to switch hydraulic one day, but look, this is the cheaper way. We're gonna get
That is the cheaper way and the way that's gonna make it work.
One day, we're gonna do a hydraulic swap and we're gonna put a man's brake in there. That way you can just slide this thing right off the line. You just click, dump the clutch.
I have an unsprung puck clutch in this thing, dude. This is gonna be great one day. It's gonna launch. It's gonna launch great. So there's two pieces on this side. This is the side that butts up to the firewall right here, and this is called your firewall adjuster. So that slides in like so. That bolts onto the firewall right in that hole right yonder. Yeah, that one. And then that bolts right in, and then you have your adjustment is
right here. So you can unscrew that piece and allow the clutch cable to have more play or less play depending on where you set it at.
So the first step is to make sure that the forward part of things is good. That would be the plastic linkage they use for the clutch quadrants and no adjustment in their clutch cables at all. So the way we're gonna fix that is starting up here and fix the in-car things, and we have the transmission pulled, but one of the starter bolts down there is actually rounded off, and I need to figure out a way to get that off, and I'm gonna need to end up getting a, golly, what was the name of the thing? I remembered it, but I forgot it. We need to get an extractor socket that's the right size so we can actually get that off, because there's really not enough room to even try and get a weld on there to try and weld another nut onto it that we can actually get that's not stripped. So we're gonna go ahead and do the top side of things, and tomorrow hopefully we can get an extractor.
And then this weekend we're going sliding. So since I helped make this happen, you gonna let me slide this thing?
I'll let you slide it. There will be open parking lot. That is a must. There must be open parking lot for you. This thing is literally a Mustang. It's designed to hit people. So like,
hey, I'm pretty good at sliding DMs and sliding go-karts, so I think
first step is you get a singular screw, and there's only one spot to mount it on here because that's all you need is a singular spot. Get your screw, and I'm gonna put it on the bottom side because the top side's visible, and I don't want it to be visible because it looks a lot better not being. All right, I need to get my hand out from under there. I'm getting the bolt started. Just gotta get the socket up on there. Simple as that. Now that's on. Take the clutch cable, you bottom this out. That's one of the main things that you have to do. Bottom out that. Take this, there is a stock mount hole right here that you have to take off an E-clip right here and take off the E-clip and then slide that out. So now you can put it inside of this, because some people, they sell sets without the firewall adjuster, and that's how the cable comes stock. So they just gave me the one that didn't have it, so you have to take that off in order to put the firewall adjuster one on. And honestly, if you can, just get the firewall adjuster, because it's just a lot easier than jacking up your car and adjusting your clutch like that. All right, so now that's in. This other part, I've heard it's just a pain in the butt to get out, and you might actually have to just end up breaking pieces, which is, I'm not opposed to that, because honestly, if it's cheap plastic stuff I don't want anyways, I might as well just break it off because it saves time and effort.
Maybe not effort, but it saves time.
Nah, bro, pry bar does everything for effort. All you gotta do is just bonk, and next thing you know, it's off. You can hand me the camera, I'm explaining to the peoples. So this piece right here is your clutch adjustment. If actually you can see, there's my clutch cable right there. So that's the brand new clutch cable, and this is the piece that is broken right here. This is the stock quadrant, and as you can see, there's a lot of just random plastic pieces on there with a ton of springs, and that just makes things a lot harder to do. So there's a cotter pin in here that I have to get out. Oh, this thing's gonna be a pain. Yeah, it's gonna definitely be a pain. Oh, I got it.
Hey,
that's it. All right, so
poor little tink.
Now I haven't been able to get my eyes on these at all, but if the sounds I was hearing are correct, these gears should be pretty messed up. So gotta push this off. What we're gonna do here is I took the cotter pin off from right there, and I'm gonna take those springs and take those off with a flathead, and then we'll be pretty solid. It's pretty easy to do. All you gotta do is just kind of pry. All right, I'm gonna need a thicker one that I can pry with.
Ooh, thick boy.
I've expended all of my trying to be gentle, and now I just want to get it done. This piece is stuck on there. I just need a bigger pry bar, honestly. I wish I had my adjustable pry bar, but that thing fell apart. You see where the teeth are just gone.
Yeah, they just be gone in some places.
Like right here, this whole thing is gone as well.
Yeah.
If you look at it just even on, it's like, you can see just like here and here, it's gone, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So Ford designed these parts this way, and this honestly is why I love Ford. And we're gonna go ahead and replace it with what Ford wants us to do, which is why Fords are the #1 selling vehicles, is because they break the most and they have the most loyal fan base, which is why so many of y'all hate me. But when you break it, you just buy another one. That's how Fords are, because they're cheap.
Or you buy a billet one, which I believe is somewhere
Hey,
down
I
here.
will say the #1 most American truck in America is the Toyota Tundra. The Tundra is more American made than any other truck being made right now, as well as it is made in Texas.
Oh, damn!
That was a whole ass hub, bro.
Oh man!
Luckily, it hit me like right here. Like that's where I got the brunt of it. Poop de scoop, scoop de whoop, scoop de poop de scoop, poop scoop.
What? I think this dude hit his head too hard.
It's a Kanye West song. I'm not even lying to you.
I'm pretty sure Yeezy never said
Poop
that.
de scoop de whoop. You wanna know what the real story about it is, bro? So Ye straight up got that beat because Drake wanted that beat, and Ye and Drake were beefing at the minute. So Ye was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a song with that beat that Drake wants. So he deadass made a whole ass song with the beat that Drake wanted, but he said the most gibberish jib jab, and he said poop de scoop and scoop de whoop.
Scoop diddy whoop diddy whoop diddy poop.
Whoop dee scoop. Whoop diddy poop diddy whoop diddy scoop. Poop scoop.
Alright, so now the fun part of things. Sean just happens to be a jam up fabricator and cutter of metal parts. So he decided it'd be a great idea to teardrop this right here. And he already cut a teardrop, and that's gonna be over there. I'm pretty sure y'all might have saw it.
Oh,
alright, so that's the teardrop that Sean cut.
Yeah.
This is passenger side teardrop. Cut some holes in the bumper, putting that bad marmor drummer out the bumper. If you don't know how to make a teardrop, this is how you make a teardrop.
Cut a teardrop completely straight, right in the bend, just like so. And then what you will have is, we need a new wheel, by the way. Guys, go buy a t-shirt so we can go buy wheels so we can cut more teardrops.
Facts.
This is what we're gonna do. Sometimes when life gives you lemons, you gotta make lemonade.
One last spot to get. If we had a full wheel right there, then we'd be a lot more set, but we don't currently, so that's what we're dealing with.
It's not gonna be like this forever.
Definitely not gonna be like this forever. We're just gonna have to get a wheel for it.
There you go. Now you have a teardrop.
Hell yeah.
Just like that. You have to cut it in the bend. That way it comes out like this.
Yeah, no, they both look really good.
This one's a little bit longer. We cut this one out of a 90 bend, and I think just because the radius was a little bit shorter in this J bend, that it made this one just a little bit longer out of that 90. To be honest with you, you're not gonna go and then walk all the way around the car and be like, oh, that one was 4 millimeters shorter. Man, that fabricator is shit.
Oh my goodness. So this drift build is actually getting pretty far, and I mean, if you haven't already seen, it's driving. Wow, I'm really banking on the fact that this thing's gonna drive, but this is also early in the video, and it's gonna happen a little bit later in the video. So this man's just gotta cut a hole.
Are you sure?
Nah, I changed my mind. Let's go ahead and put the exhaust back how it was at the back. Aw, bro, drill a hole in that daggone thing, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah. There you go.
Just like that.
Now you got some room for exhaust. You know how hard that is for most people to do?
It's not that bad.
It's really not, but like most people just can't understand the concept of it.
Alright, where's your teardrop at?
So we have one full welded piece right here.
Hey, you know the bright side of this? Your exhaust is about to be really light. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you have hardly any exhaust system.
No exhaust system at all. My state allows it. I live in Louisiana, people. One of the great states that decided, you know what? Let's not do emissions and let's not fix our roads.
And let's take airboats to school
Facts.
and eat crawfish every day and have pet alligators. That's what we do.
Your car got freaking teardrops.
Yes, sir. Well, that's dope.
Yeah, no, that's about to be spitting some flame, son.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, that looks clean. Sean, good stuff on the freaking putts. Hey, yo. We cannot use those, my dog. They're brand new Harbor Freight jack stands. Don't you know by the entire internet telling people Harbor Freight jack stands are bad? They snap right here because of some...
Holy cow.
Yeah, bro. Perfect welds right there, bro. That's why they snap right there. I think you can almost see a hole. All right, guys. So basically what I was saying is these guys right here have issues from the factory. And a lot of y'all have told me already, which I'm already kind of familiar with it. You can see there's some pretty bad pitting in these welds right here. And if you know anything about welding, you know that that is not good right there. That won't hold 12 tons of shit. So what we're gonna do is take this piece of metal, because this is where the jack stands actually crush. And if you're up under a car when a jack stand's under, especially a 12-ton jack stand, you're about to get really just crushed. So what we're gonna do is Poeboy fix these. So let's get started with that. So to fix these guys, what I'm literally gonna do is take this right here, because this is not welded, and a joint that's not welded is this joint that has one opportunity to break. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off, which is simple as getting a wheel. That's bare metal. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side and on the opposite sides. And then we're gonna run a bead of weld down here so those guys never fall apart. And we should be good after that.
Damn, boy.
Overloaded the welder, but that's literally on 3 overload of full power on 110. So the welder's gotta kinda cool down from duty cycle stuff. May have possibly just popped a breaker. Fix the breaker. We need a weld 220 in here eventually. That's one thing that we do need to do so I can actually weld and not have a problem welding through stuff that this thing should be able to weld through. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and pop that breaker and finish welding all the rest of these up. Alright, so not the beautifulest thing, and my auto darkening lens actually stopped working, so I accidentally had a few side swipes here, but it welded down pretty nice. The welds don't look beautiful, but I'm also welding on 110, and this metal just needed a lot more heat, so I had to sit there for a lot longer of a time. But I now do have full penetration on both sides for these, and now I trust these jack stands to freaking lift up heavy stuff. If you ever wondered how to fix your Harbor Freight jack stands, or you were wondering about my Harbor Freight jack stands, I got it covered.
Am I not gonna die now?
Yeah, let's say that.
I hope I don't die.
Caleb's leaving, but back to work here. So we have this guy right here, which is the pivot stud for that throwout fork right there, and this little pin sits up inside of here and slides in, and that's what it pivots on with a little bit of grease. But this guy right here is so worn down that all that stuff's there. I was gonna try and make something custom right here, and I had a bracket that I was gonna be able to make in here and put down. I wanted to try and make this heim joint work so you could actually kind of move it back and forth, but I don't think this is actually going to be able to work with what I'm doing. So since this might take a little bit more planning and a little more preparation than what I'm expecting to do, just for the sake of getting the car going and running, I got a new replacement pivot ball stud, which I didn't know you could get till you crack this thing open. But if you see right here, those are supposed to be the same, and they're not. So what we're gonna do here is use the lock washer that was already in place and put that back in its spot, which should be, looks like a 23. So that should be tight. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that's 100% tight. Now, if we put this guy in, I have a new throwout bearing as well, but if we put this guy in, it should pop on and pop off. Oh. Dang, it's kind of hard to pull off. Shoot, maybe that might fix our problems. We'll make sure to put some grease on that pivot stud and put a new throwout bearing in there, throw the transmission back in the car. So first steps first, let's go ahead and put the flywheel back in and get this thing torqued down. All right guys, so on the back of this car, we have the entire clutch area right here, which basically consists of the backing plate for the transmission, flywheel, clutch, and pressure plate right here, which we have all the bolts right here, which are just 13s. Make sure to use a 6-point socket, not a 12-point socket on these guys. We're gonna have to use a torque wrench to torque these down to spec, and also this guy as well. Make sure you use a 6-point. These are 19 millimeters on the flywheels, and make sure to use red Loctite when you're putting this stuff back in, because you don't want any of this stuff to back out. Well, that won't back out, but any of this stuff backing out while you're driving is definitely not a key to success. So you're gonna want to definitely make sure you get Loctite on these guys so they're staying in there. So first up goes this piece right here, and then bolted up to that right there, it will be the flywheel bolted up the crankshaft, and then after that clutch goes on right here with this piece will be flopped over, and this will be flopped over on top of the clutch as well. But you got the nice blue outline right there. It's a nice stage 4 clutch, unsprung and 6-puck, which honestly is one of the more aggressive clutches that you can get for this car because there just is no slack in it. And when you want to break the tires loose with a car that has little horsepower, it's exactly what you do, is make sure you just can get them tires loose, and as soon as you can, it'll handle itself. So those gotta go there. First step, put the wiring harness back in. Bro, I have zero idea how to freaking clock this flywheel the right way. I think it doesn't even matter, honestly. There ain't no sort of sensor on it. All right, so now this guy's on there and torqued, so all we gotta do now is take the brake parts cleaner, clean this off, and put on the clutch. All right, guys, so if you can see right there, we've got some grease and some stuff from taking this thing out from me getting my fingers on it. So we have to, now I can wipe that off, get the surface nice and free of any sort of dust or debris or grease that might make the clutch slip prematurely, which is no bueno, which is why we're wiping this good thing off right here. Looks like we have a singular hot spot right there on this new flex plate right here. All right, so flex plate is now clean. Let's go ahead and bring this guy without touching it, making sure I don't get my greasy paws on that thing, and put it up under here, get it ready to install. All right, so I'm gonna have to put some grease inside the pilot bearing hole. Pilot bearing feels good as well, so it's good news. Wash off all the excess, and then wipe off this guy with some brake part cleaner. Clean up your flywheel real good. So long as there's no cracking or anything like that, this guy looks to be in really good condition, so I'm gonna go ahead, spray this guy down, get all that stuff out. So guys, we've got that brand new pivot stud in there, and honestly, I hope this dude right here puts in some work. But we do need to go ahead and grab this grease gun right here that I've got, and we need to grease this guy right here so it can accept this guy right here with a little bit of grease on it, and it'll make it just a little bit better of a connection, and who doesn't like a little bit of grease? All right, and that should be enough. there we go. So dabbled on there, not too much, not too little, but we got enough grease on there to where it's actually gonna make something work. So that's pretty solid. Let's go ahead, put this bell housing back up under that thing so we can get the trans back in. Well, bell house. I can't talk. The bell housing bolts are about to go in here soon. All right, guys, so we have the throwout bearing right here that came out of the car, and just for shittles and giggles, here's the original throwout bearing that came out of the car. And if y'all don't understand anything by what you see here, or here, I guess, my hands are black because I've been pulling a transmission, but there is play in that throwout bearing, son. That is no bueno. This is the one I just took out of the car that I just recently replaced, but the clutch was messed up, so it kind of ate up this throwout bearing. So we have some freaking throwout bearing from National Bearing. No play, she should do pretty solid. And she just looks better than this one anyways, so let's go ahead and throw this guy in the car. All right, so I have the new throwout bearing on the clutch fork, so let's go ahead and throw it down there. I just don't really have a good angle of this, so I'm gonna put it here for now while you watch me do it. Alright guys, so if you can see, we have the clutch fork inside of there and the throwout bearing in there, and this is where the transmission input shaft goes into. So basically this right here is your clutch cable system, and that cable goes through this hole right here, and basically once you get the cable through, you adjust it up there so I don't have to lift up the car anymore on the side of the highway to adjust my clutch if it ever comes out, which happened so many times. Probably over 30 times I was stuck on the side of the road with this car trying to fix the clutch, and I never filmed it because it was always on the side of the highway. I just never wanted to, so hopefully this will fix our problems. So got the clutch cable on the car, and also have the transmission ready to get stabbed. So let's go ahead and stab that bad boy. I'm a dumbass and got ahead of myself. I moved the clutch and it moved the entire clutch disc and unaligned it. So luckily I put the bell housing on and not the transmission in. All I gotta do is get this clutch alignment tool, push the clutch in. One of these Johnnies right here. So got the new cable in place, need to put in a C-clamp, and then I need to put this guy up right here, and we will be freaking working, baby. All this guy does right here is just a dust cover. Helps that stuff from getting out. Then we'll put a bolt in and everything will be buttoned back up. We have the drive shaft in and everything. All we gotta do is put in the shifter. So excuse my black hands, but next up is a grommet. It's because my gas tank's leaking. Post videos to the side. I have the filler neck taken off completely. I have all the bolts taken out, so this thing could actually slide out now. So the move is getting the filler neck off kinda. So we'll kinda go ahead and pry that guy out, get the old one out, slap the old new guy in. Shouldn't have any gas tank leaks, and maybe we might be able to hold more than half a tank. All right guys, so in order to change out this little teeny seal right here, you need to take out your filler neck bolts out here. You need to take out your bolts right here for the other side of the filler neck. You have to drop your gas tank, and you also have to get up in here and like wiggle the crap out of everything and unconnect literally every single line. So now we have old and new. Now we gotta put that there. So out with the old piece of rubber, in with the new deal, but now we gotta get it inside the tank itself, which is probably gonna suck, but let's get it done. It's time to finally finish this exhaust. All right guys, so what I just got done, I don't know if I told y'all yet, I got that new gas tank seal back in there. I've got everything wired back up here. Clutch is back in, transmission is in the car, drive shaft is bolted in, everything is tight and torqued down. We have this side of the teardrop. Now we have this side of the teardrop. I went ahead and put it together, and it's pretty simple. It's just a few bends, comes straight out the bumper, just like any cool, awesome car would. Pretty cool, and it's a working, functioning exhaust, so super pumped about that. However, it is 7 a.m. and I've been here since last night, so that means finish a few more things till Sean gets here, but whatever we don't finish, we'll finish here in a little bit. So we are going to be installing camber caster plates, which basically lets you adjust camber and caster, and it gives you more than the stock shocks do. So I'm gonna pull that off and slap that on. Boo-hua! All right, so we have this guy right here. This is now the next day, so I stayed here all night and worked on this thing myself, got a lot of stuff done, but I went to sleep and woke back up, and now it's the next day. So, got the camber caster plates on here, and we have casters set to all the way backwards. Hopefully that should help whenever we're drifting. It'll get the tires like straight whenever we're drifting. There's a lot of scientific stuff that goes into it. We'll show you whenever the car actually gets aligned though. Someone will be able to explain it better. But we have the camber caster plates on there. They're tight, they're torqued down, and everything's good. We have both exhaust tips in, and we also have the headlights back in. So the teardrops on this side, we already know that that one's been there, but we now have one on this side as well. I finished that teardrop and it looks pretty solid. You can see that clears the exhaust really good, no issues there, and honestly, it's gonna be pretty sweet. And on the other side, you can see it doesn't clear as well.
All good.
We're good there as far as exhaust stuff goes. We have inside, it's time to put in the driver's seat and the brackets for the harness. And now that we have the gas tank plug in there, which really sucks trying to get that in there, I had to not even film that. But I was just so tired and fatigued, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna tell people that I did it and explain it later. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. And once we get the seat in there, we're gonna bleed the brakes. After that, we gotta fill it with water. We have to assess the brand new radiator's coolant leak and also put gas in it. And then we're driving this thing around. What's up, Holmes?
What's up, Holmes?
Here, Holmes.
Oh, shit, I'm on my way. What's up,
boy,
Holmes?
you got my race car?
Hey, man, you go fast in this thing?
Hey, bro, I go extra fast in this thing. So fast the wheel fall off. What the fuck, bro? I thought you was playing, bro. I thought you was actually about to take it, man. I almost had to run you over, bro. You know I'm in a Mustang. I hit you faster than anything you ever see before, bro.
Man, you know I can do you like that.
All right, what I'm currently doing is setting up this seat to figure out where I want it to be. You want your clutch foot, whenever the clutch is completely depressed, to be bent. So I think, honestly, this is a good spot. Alright, so this is about where I want it to sit. Now I gotta find the best mounting spot for right here for my third harness, which honestly is gonna be right there. I'll take a bolt. We got 3 different spots to mount up the bottom 3 points of the 5-point harness. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. Wow, we have harness. Center point, just drill it into a hole that you tap into the dagum with the bolt on the nut on the bottom side of it. The actual move is to go ahead and put the rest of the stuff in there. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna mount those side brackets. I might just mount them to the actual mounting bolts. That's how I did with Yeet, and it works pretty good. Go ahead and see if that works though. Harness installed, 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So say 4-point harnesses are junk, don't get one. 5-point harnesses are always the move. Harness and seat are installed. So just lowered the car down, and I really honestly need to find out if this clutch works. So make sure this guy's in neutral, turn it on. I just put fuel in it, so probably got to prime the fuel pump. Go check in, baby, make sure everything's good in there. Still doesn't have O2s. That is one thing that is for sure. Let's see what's going on down yonder. Well, there ain't no reason why I shouldn't do it. But we can give it a little bit of persuasion. Can you go ahead and push the clutch in and try and turn that thing on? Loud. What the heck?
I wonder why.
Bro, okay, so I adjusted this coilover since I put the camber caster plates on this car, but I need to adjust this coilover and we need to bleed the brakes. So if we do those things, we got a driving car. Let's do it. All right, guys, so me and Sean are here. Keaton's there too. He's just doing some editing stuff. But Sean is in the driver's seat of the car because we're about to do a job that takes 2 people. Sean's gonna be in there pressing the pedal, and if you can see, all of the wheels are off this thing, not because we're freaking selling them and taking the car to Mexico. You know how I said it was gonna be a drift car? It's not gonna drift, it's just gonna fly sideways. That's the move. So let's go ahead, get these things bled. We're gonna go passenger rear, driver side rear, front side, a passenger, and then front side driver, going from furthest away from the master to the closest to the master. So I guess let's do this thing. All right, what you're gonna do is you're gonna press, I'm not gonna film the whole process of this because bleeding brakes is really boring, but he's gonna pump the pedal 3 times, press and hold, and then I'm gonna open this thing up, and then whenever he hits the bottom, I'm gonna tighten it. He's gonna do the same thing until we have some pressure in all these lines. So do the daggum thing. All right, go ahead and turn this bad boy on. We're gonna see if this brake bleed job works. Those axles should spin whenever he puts it in gear, and it should be able to stop it. That's the only thing we're really looking for.
I don't know how to drive a stick shift car.
Pretty easy, bro. There's just an extra pedal. Alright, put her in first, let it spin, and then push the air out again. That's gonna move the air out of him whenever it activates the brake. Well, we're gonna probably do another round real quick, and after that we should be solid. Alright, well, you can turn it off now. What? You turn it off now! So she needs one more round. They're getting a little bit spongy, but we wanted to move them a little bit. Those rear brakes were the only ones that really have been disconnected the whole way through. So we're gonna go ahead and take those things, bleed them just a little bit more, because after we got them moving a little bit, some air bubbles popped out of the lines. So we're gonna go ahead and get all that out. So let's do it. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have temperature in this daggone puppy. So we put some water in the radiator and I fixed the problem. What ended up happening was there's a leak deal right there that basically so you can drain your radiator.
There's a leak deal right
There's a leak deal right there. You drain your radiator. Daggum O-ring on there, or not shaped like an O, it was an oval. And that ain't the right way for an O-ring, so.
Yeah, you know these V6 Mustangs, they be running off that Sonic lemonade.
Yeah, bro. I put lemonade in my coolant because racetracks like lemonade. They don't like coolant. So we got a little bit of bubblage going on right here. We're just letting it kind of bubble out, and that's how coolant systems bleed themselves. You just let the car on, let the cap off, all the air will bubble out, fill in water as you need it, and then you'll have a car that runs cool. Brakes are bled, car's back on the ground, all 4 wheels are back on the car, and currently it needs O2 sensors and an O2 sensor extension. That is it. This car is driving now. I honestly could drive this thing down the road without the O2s. Is it worth driving it without the O2s? Probably. But we're gonna put those on because those are needed for eventually tuning the car. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now is the time. We don't have radiator fans and we don't have an expansion tank currently, but I don't plan on overheating it in this little quick test run. We're gonna give her the juice for the first time in a long time. So, for the first time in a long time, it's time to drive the old drip whip.
I can't believe this is happening right now.
Hey, it's been a long time coming, that's for sure.
Golly. That thing is, wow. That thing is obnoxiously loud, bro. Hey, lock box it. Ruston ran till we come, and it don't even sound like a Mustang, bro.
There you go, Skrrt. You got it still, bro. I cannot wait to whip some shitties, bro. I need an alignment bad. So I put the A-arms on there and hadn't aligned it, so I'm doing this deal on the road so I can wiggle it back and forth. It's hard to steer it right now, but.
So, drift track this weekend?
I know we're whipping some shitties, my man.
Drift track this weekend?
Alright guys, so we saw it drive around last night. It's daytime, so y'all get to see this thing actually in some action. We get to test it out for real and see how good it actually does. And I think y'all are gonna like it.
Boy got himself a skid.
It moved instantly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that tire's probably on the edge and I'm probably eating it.
Nah, dude, it was barely sitting on it. You could have kept going and like stayed right there on the edge and would have done anything. Yeah.
Dang.
Try it again. Yeah. my god.
Cannot wait to slide it.
Oh my god, this thing is gonna slide amazing.
I paid $750 for this car, and that makes this whole entire freaking series worth it. Oh my gosh. Well, in the next video, we are going to freaking take this thing and get it a little sideways. So the next drift car video, we're getting this thing sideways. Y'all subscribe for more. Press like if you like the video. Thank y'all very much for watching. Remember to freaking send it. Be great. Bah!